All right, welcome back, everyone. Dr. Dan Ritchie, president of the Functional Aging Institute. We are here, Functional Aging Summit, June 11th, day one. It's 3 o'clock Eastern, though you may be watching this on a recording. That's great. We've got Krishea Holloway from Curves, and she's going to be leading a session on pivoting after the pandemic. And if you're not familiar with her, you really should check out her bio on the summit page. She's been the CEO of Curves now for several years, and if you're not familiar with Curves, I really don't know where you've been hiding, because Curves has been around, I think, as long as I've been around in the fitness industry, but they've added a lot of new stuff. And Curves on Demand, accessible anywhere, anytime. My Curves on Demand, plus a group lifestyle coaching program. The Curves Health and Wellness Education Series provides members with education, and so many more things that they have been adding that I think a lot of us think of Curves from maybe what we knew of Curves in the 90s. And so Curves has been adapting and changing, and Curves is one of the largest chains of fitness clubs for women in the world, famous for its 30-minute circuit with a coach, of course. We're probably mostly familiar with that, but so many new things. And so excited to turn it over to Krishea and really what their franchise and what they've been through this past year and how they have pivoted through the pandemic. And thankful for you to be a sponsor again this year. And I encourage you to check out their virtual expo as well as Krishea's full bio on the site. So I'm going to turn it over to you. I will be here. I'm going to hop off camera, but if people start typing questions in the chat, I know you and Amanda both can see it, but I'll be here if you need anything. So take it away.
Sounds great. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. So hi, everybody. As Dan said, my name is Krishea Holloway, and I am the president and CEO of Curves North America and Oceania. And I will be presenting today with my sidekick, Amanda Miriam. And Amanda, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm the vice president of Curves. And like I said earlier, I'm so excited to be here. I even washed my hair for this. So this is a big day. We have had some amazing things happen in the last 12 months. You know, we're kind of like everybody else. We didn't know what we didn't know. And we are so excited to share with you some things that we learned. This is certainly going to be an interactive presentation because the whole joy of these kind of events is learning from our peers. If you're not a part of a big franchise system, maybe you're just operating one gym, I think there are some nuggets that you can take from what we present today that could really impact your business. So we're really looking for you to interact with us. That means you can unmute yourself or share in the chat, but our presentation will be so much better if you participate. This is certainly a two-way dialogue.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to talk today about pivoting after the pandemic. So want to introduce Curves to you for just a second. You know, making an impact in women's lives is what we do here at Curves. For over nearly 30 years, Curves has changed women's fitness by delivering studio fitness without the premium price. While workouts are only 30 minutes, you will feel the benefits long after. Unlike a traditional gym, Curves memberships give you the tools and support you need to reach your goals and to set the stage for a healthier, more active lifestyle and future. We are the innovators of women's fitness. Curves was established in 1992. 27 years of experience in the fitness industry. We are the innovators of the Express workout. We work every major muscle group in 30 minutes so that women experience a full body workout. The Curves workout focuses on a combination of strength training and cardio to work every major muscle group. While others only focus either on cardio workouts for women, Curves has educated women on the importance of strength training, and that's really our key piece of our workout here at Curves. The Curves franchise system quickly grew to the largest fitness franchise from 1992 to 2009. This period of time was known as the Curves phenomenon, A Curves location opened every 15 minutes for about 4 years, growing to over 70 countries. Who are we? Well, Curves is still one of the largest fitness chains, and Curves is unlike any other gym or fitness club. We're designed specially designed for women, and Curves clubs provide a welcoming, inspiring, and empowering environment for fitness, weight loss, and healthy living. We have a strong focus for real women and real results. You'll see this laid out throughout all of the marketing that we do. We really love to focus on real women. They're the talent in our classes that we'll talk about later today, and they're also, our members are in all of our marketing materials. This also includes non-scale victories. We want our members to live their best lives. It's not always about what the scale says, but what are you able to do? We're often imitated, but never duplicated. Several hot fitness concepts today have been modeled after the Curves model. Who are our consumers? Our demographic is the 50+ woman. The fitness industry is saturated for the under 40 market. We have found a comfortable space with this demographic, providing not only results, but community. Looking to stay active and or lose weight. Our consumer is wanting to keep her balance, strength, and flexibility as she gets older. She joins for the community of like-minded women. And we have a unique niche with the mature woman. Why do we love our members? Well, we are passionate about women's health. No one else is servicing her like we can here at Curves. She has time, she has money, and we're here to strengthen women. Why our members love us? Again, our members love us because of the community that we provide them and the fast, fun, safe workout to allow them to get into their workout without being, concerned about going into a gym or being able to do the machines. We give them that safe environment to do that. Where are we going? Well, in 1992, we first started our in-club experience Curves in Holloway, Texas. In 2019, we launched My Curves on Demand, our at-home workout program. And My Curves on Demand brings the Curves workouts that members love to their homes using resistance bands instead of our hydraulic equipment. So all of our moves in My Curves on Demand with the resistant band emulates what we do with our machines in the club. And we are very fortunate that we were able to launch in November of 2019. So we had already launched our at-home program before the year 2020 became what it was. In the end of 2020, we launched Curves on the Go. And Curves on the Go will take the My Curves on Demand workout and adds the accountability of the coach. Curves on the Go instructors are certified personal trainers, and they provide a total body workout, Curves total body workout using the resistance band. Curves on the Go is generally held in a variety of locations throughout their community, so churches, gyms, civic centers, etc. However, with the way that 2020 went, we did pivot there a little bit, and we have been seeing more outside classes.
So if you're interested in what a Curves on the Go workout looks like, last hour, if you go back to the recordings, we actually led one of these workouts. So if you have your resistance band handy, I would encourage you to give that a try. So a really fun workout that's mobile. And if you're interested in a fun workout, I would go check that out. So we have a couple of questions for you guys, and this is where you have to participate because it makes this a lot more fun. So how did you pivot during the pandemic? And while you're answering that, I think the story behind the story is always a lot of fun. So Krishea and I had many of the things planned that we pivoted during the pandemic before the pandemic. Sometimes I think a change like the pandemic that we faced, it really forces us into change. Curves is a really big boat. And anytime you're turning something like a really big boat, if you do something very fast, what happens when you turn a boat fast? Krishea, you have a boat. I don't have a boat.
I'm like, this is not your analogy. I don't know where.
You turn yourself over. So the acceleration of the pandemic really helped us pivot with a lot of the ideas that we had before the pandemic. We have fantastic franchisees, but we all have a certain rate of change when we've worked within our business for a long time. So some of the things that Krishea and I had been working on for years prior to the pandemic, we were able to really amplify and put into operations a lot faster than we ever thought would be possible. That's probably why my hair is curly, because it was like electricity running through us last year. So if you think about your business, if you would put in the chat, how do you think you pivoted during the pandemic? Everybody's like, oh no, she's put me on the spot.
Uh-oh, I got to answer.
Uh-oh. I have a lot of questions, so I'm going to keep asking them. It's that awkward silence when you guys don't answer.
All right. Holly says that she took her classes to Zoom.
All right, perfect. I know we saw a lot of fitness brands do that. You probably learned more about Zoom. I know that I know more about Zoom in the last 12 months than I ever wanted to know. So taking your classes to Zoom. What about Facebook Live? How many of you took your classes to Facebook Live? Yeah, we have a few of those. Now, here is the thing, and we really laugh about this. I can remember we were headed back from Idea Summit when all of this began last year. And Krishea and I said, this won't last more than 2 weeks. We'll just tell franchisees to go on Facebook Live. Ha, ha, ha. It lasted a little bit longer than 2 weeks. All right, let's have the next question, Krishea.
All right. So we do have a couple more answers.
Okay.
We added Facebook Live workouts. We also took one-on-one sessions and several group sessions a day. They led that by Zoom. Moved to online training on Zoom and convinced the Alzheimer's Society to go to Zoom. Also Facebook Live and YouTube.
Yeah.
So a lot of digital platforms.
For sure. I know that for us and our franchisees, we certainly had to learn a lot of technology in a short period of time. It feels like we all did that in the fitness industry. Okay, let's go to the next question is, what changes did you make short term? So what did you think you were going to do short term? And perfect example for us is we really pivoted to Facebook Live to keep our members up and active. We were really concerned about the demographic that we serve. Our demographic is 50 plus, but if you look at who we really service, most of our members are in that 65-year-old age range, and we were very concerned about them not moving. So we wanted to make sure that they got up and moving while we got all the technology behind the scenes going. So short term was Facebook Live for us. What was a short term change for you? It's so hard to type this stuff, isn't it?
I know another short-term change that we made was we were having weekly group meetings with our franchisees. We usually do that about every 4 to 6 weeks. Amanda and I would have larger meetings. But when this first happened, our short term was meeting every week to kind of get a lay of the land and kind of really maneuver through this because everybody was trying to figure it out and learn. So that was another short-term pivot that we had to make. Anybody else? All right. Facebook was short-term, but did that for a solid 2 months. We started emailing our entire clientele every Monday through Friday, training options via Facebook Live, YouTube, and recorded live Zoom sessions.
All right, let's go to the next one, Krishea.
What short-term changes now have become permanent? What did you think that you were going to be doing short-term, and now it's something that you do all the time?
Like I said, we really believed this was going to be a couple of weeks. We had no idea that this was going to be a year.
Classes and one-on-one training on Zoom. Some clients now prefer it.
Yeah, so that we're going to talk more about this later, but that's exactly what we did, just on a larger scale. So of course, we've never really done coaching over the phone. That's not something that, as almost a 30-year-old brand, that we thought that our members would be interested in. So we started coaching people over Zoom calls. We started coaching people over the phone. Really thought that was going to be temporary, but have found that people really enjoy it. And so we're sticking with that. Same thing with our new model, Curves on the Go. We have really planned on those only being indoors, but because of the pandemic, we have really taken some workouts outside.
Also, another permanent change that's in the chat is outdoor workouts. As Amanda said, we hadn't really thought about taking that outside, but with weather, as Dan says, with weather permitting, 2 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I think more people are going to be used to doing some things outside. What changes have you made to staffing in your business? Many clubs, lost their staff during the pandemic. And so what staffing changes have you made?
Well,
And
here's a fun one. We fired a trainer. Those outdoor workouts were going great until that trainer thought, well, shoot, I could probably do this on my own somewhere outdoors. And that freedom that came with outdoors, it was one of those things where you give your trainer just enough rope to hang themselves with, and she did, sadly. So we actually wound up firing her. It was interesting timing because once November hits, the weather's not good enough here to train outdoors. And we realized some of those outdoor clients weren't coming back. Like, how come they're not coming back to the facility or training online? And then we realized what was happening was she was starting to figure out how she could train them outside of our business. So sadly, for us, one of our staffing changes was it led to a trainer having to be let go.
Well, I think everybody probably saw that one of the many things that the pandemic brought on is that there are a lot of people out there who think they're experts in fitness. And they have definitely taken to all of those, like you said, Dan, all of those opportunities to now become the new business in town.
yeah, Dan, we had a similar experience with a staff. And what I think is so interesting about that is she forgot she was friends with all of us on Facebook, where she was soliciting our members. I'm like, geez, if you're going to steal members from a big brand, you probably shouldn't be friends with the exercise science manager and the VP and the president. That's just a tip.
Yeah, sometimes people just, I think they forget as they cut their own nose off in front of everybody,
Yeah.
It's like, I get people need opportunities and the pandemic opened up a lot of opportunities for people, but it's like, there are ethical ways to do it. And if you wind up losing all your friends, you're probably not going about it the best way.
That's right. So,
any other changes in the chat, or if you want to unmute, you can let us know. All right. What changes have you made to your hours of operations? We know that the pandemic definitely forced many of us to have decreased hours because we had, or, less people could come in. I know for many of our franchisees, they have opted to keep some of those decreased hours because they found that that was a better business situation for them. But what hours have you made? Shannon says that only the best coaches will survive. What else? What other changes maybe you made to your hours of operations?
When we reopened on, I guess the very end of May is when Indiana let us reopen. In June, we reopened on Saturdays, and pretty quickly by mid-July, we realized nobody wanted to come on Saturday. No one was coming. No one was taking us up on Saturday. In fact, when my one trainer said I had 2 people in 4 hours, like I was pretty bored. And they were even like, I get it, I can clean, but I can't clean for 3 hours out of 4. And so we shut down Saturday hours in August last year, and we are just now reopening Saturdays tomorrow for the first time. We had no interest in the winter. No one was expressing desire or need for Saturday. And it wasn't really until about April when people started asking, hey, are you ever going to open up on Saturdays again? And so we just kept it shut down. There just wasn't a need or a demand for it. So
one of the chats says people stayed home and stayed on virtual. So I'm assuming that meant that you are keeping most everything virtual versus reopening for your clients.
So we've really seen, because we're all over the United States, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand, we've really seen this has been really regional. So I'm in Texas. For whatever reason, Texas is kind of behaving as if COVID no longer exists. If you're in a rural area like I am, if you're in Austin or Dallas, much different. But people are getting back to kind of the groove of things. But we are still seeing in our clubs, Saturdays have never been our big training times. People, because we train women, I think Saturday mornings, they tend to be busy with kids or grandkid activities. So that's always been kind of a struggle for us. But what we've seen is our franchisees really standing strong and not moving back to their pre-COVID hours until they regain those memberships that they had before. So we certainly are working more within limited hours to help profitability. And that's been a very positive business decision for our franchisees and for our company. Krishea, anything else on that?
Nope, that's perfect. So what changes have you made to your classes? Go ahead and put that in the chat. What changes have you made to your classes? So as we mentioned earlier, with My Curves on Demand, we had already started to build that platform and launched in November of 2019. So for us, that was a pretty big change in our business model to go hybrid. Everything prior to that had been completely in club. And so we were taking that, our in-club experience, and bringing it online. So that was a huge, change for us, even though that was starting even before the pandemic. As Amanda said, when the pandemic first started, we were, our franchisees were doing these classes on Facebook Live. And we, it was great in the very beginning for the first couple of weeks, but as business owners, you also have to be paid for that as well. So we had to kind of back up and pivot on providing these things for free in the very beginning, because if you're giving it away for free, then it was very hard to expect your members to pay for that. So those are some things that we changed.
So Holly has a comment in the chat, Krishea, and it says, I work with active agers. I added brain teasers, trivia section to give them some interaction with each other. I'm also a brain health trainer. I open the class 10 minutes early so they can interact with each other. You know, this has been one of the things that our members have commented on the most, is coming in for the community with the women that they work out with every day, that they've really missed that piece. Throughout the pandemic, our coaches called every member. They really worked to do that once a week. I know at the beginning of the pandemic, that was easy. As they got further along, it was really hard on their souls because people were so down, and they were trying to be the inspirational coach to keep them going. I think that our demographics certainly miss that socialization and the brain health piece of working out as much as the physical piece. The next comment says, the social aspect of our group session with my Alzheimer's group has been very positive. I love hearing that. Krishea, anything else you would add?
And you ladies, you know, June is Alzheimer's month. And so we work very closely with Women Against Alzheimer's, and we definitely have a brain health that you know, members can sign up for, that gives them something every day to work on with their brain health. So love that you ladies have taken that and ran with it during this.
Yeah, so like Krishea said, we are part of Women Against Alzheimer's. Check out our Facebook page. They have a new brain health guide to really help caregivers as they're helping somebody that feels like they may be having memory loss, these kind of issues, but completely free, helps you, you know, find resources, find providers. Check out our Facebook page. That's a shameless plug for a charity. So I'll add that into our presentation. So what I would say is 2020 certainly accelerated change for Curves. Like Dan said at the beginning, if you don't know what Curves is, I don't know where you've been hiding, but maybe you've been hiding and you didn't know who we were. But we have added so many things in the last several years that people don't know us for. They know us for our fun, fast 30-minute experience in club. But we have been working very hard as a brand to innovate and add things to make us very relevant today. And as devastating as the pandemic was for our business, for our franchisees, lots of tears on Zoom calls between Krishea and I trying to figure out how are we going to hold all this together. I don't think that anybody that was in the fitness business didn't have a couple of tears, and we're not really big crybabies through this. I think that that's just part of this process, but we have really seen on the other side of this our ability to get this message out and get our franchisees to trust and believe in some of these things that seemed very foreign when we first introduced them. So just a little bit about the all new Curves. And I love that and I hate that because it seems very marketing-ish. But of course, we've already talked about that we have a new at-home on-demand workout platform. And like I said, in the beginning, we started with Facebook Live. We did some things like that, but the size of our brand and the way that we need to push things out, the at-home on-demand workout has really worked best for us. One of the things that we learned during the pandemic is we really tried some live workouts, and what all of our data showed, and it can be because we're kind of, we kind of follow the sun. We are in the first place that the sun comes up in New Zealand, and then we're here as well. So on scheduled workouts on particular times did not work well for us as a brand. The on-demand workout worked better. Recorded training, recorded workouts, our members watch more frequently than when we actually host something live. So that was a big learning for us, because when you look at other fitness brands like Peloton and all of these people that are the big deal right now, they talk about live training and everybody loves live training. Well, that's great marketing. People like recorded training that they can do when they want to do it. The other thing that we introduced is health and wellness education series, and we'll talk a little bit more about these in a bit. but these are 6-week classes that focus on a particular health topic. We did a focus group prior to the pandemic about topics that women really are interested in. And so this was a great tool for us during the pandemic because these things could be coached over Zoom calls. Of course, we've always had monthly challenges, but we had a big focus on that throughout the pandemic, supporting those on social efforts, our franchisees really engaging people through their social media. So we certainly took advantage of that during that period of time. We also added virtual online coaching. So if you're a personal trainer or you manage a gym, you know that staffing has been quite difficult. And we wanted to make sure that we could support our coaches and also provide our members the experience that they expect and deserve from Curves. We know as our franchisees have reopened, it's been quite difficult to find people to come to work. If you have been hiring people, you know that we just can't get staff. It's really tough right now. So what we have done for our franchisees is we have outsourced some of the coaching that can be done virtually, and we're handling that at corporate so that we can take volumes of people through our certified coaches that can really help them. And we can use that power of numbers to do what we did before. Of course, nutrition and weight management, we've added that to what we provide here for our members as well. Of course, our focus is always fitness, but we know that a big piece of feeling better is what we put in our mouth. And then, of course, specialty fitness classes, which if you'll go watch our workout that we hosted earlier, you can see kind of a preview of some of those. And then of course in purple, what we're known for, that 30-minute strength training workout with a coach. So we have all of that stuff in pink is new, and that one purple bubble is what we are known for. So I think our franchisees in some ways really appreciated the pandemic because they had a lot to learn.
You know, we can't say we're not your grandma's, curves, because, even though Amanda and I are, neither one of us are grandmothers, we both could be. And so we are not the 1990s curves. That's how we're going to say that. We're not the 1990s. We're now the 21st century curves.
That's right. All right, Krishea, you want to move on to the next slide?
There we go.
Like we've spoken about this quite a bit, but we have a new platform called My Curves on Demand. And, this was certainly a pivot for us. We were trying to move to hybrid model prior to COVID. And we really just thought this was another way to engage in-club members with our brand. They had the in-club, they would have the at-home. The at-home would be something they completely did on their own. We wouldn't involve the coach, but the pandemic certainly made us pivot. And, we look back now and we named it My Curves because it was supposed to be for you to do at home, My Curves. It didn't have the community that we include in the club. So we certainly had to pivot there and include the virtual coaching, like I mentioned earlier. So that's one of those marketing decisions that I'm like, wow, maybe we could have named that something a little bit different. All right, Krishea, next slide. Health and Wellness Education Series. This is something that we're so excited to share with our membership, and really has been a way for us to draw in new people to Curves that maybe are not as familiar with us. So these are 6-week classes. We have 3 of those available right now that focus on, one is on balance and posture, one is on strengthening your pelvic floor, and the third is on stretching and stress management. 6 weeks of educational content that your coach takes you through, exercises each week that build on each other. These sessions can be led in club or online. We have really loved these classes, especially balance and posture during the pandemic, as we've had a large number of people not leaving their homes homes. We all know that falls have increased. And so this is a very important class for us. I know Macy, I think, is on the call today. My mom and her mom both fell down during the pandemic. And I said, how is it possible that the two women that helped put these courses together had the moms that fell down? You know, you can never convince your mom you're a grown-up and you know what you're talking about. So I think that's the lesson there. Krishea, anything else you'd add about these health and wellness education series?
The only thing that I would add there is, like what Amanda said, originally, you know, these were planned to be taught in the club in group settings, and we had to pivot, and we took on that coaching aspect that our franchisees could utilize our coaches to help take that pressure off of training, learning, staffing these in a club, so they could continue to keep revenue coming in, even if these members took these classes from the comforts of their own home.
All right, next slide. Same thing with our nutrition and weight management course. Again, this is really a 3-phased approach class. We took these online as well, really coaching members via the internet if they could not come into the club. So, you know, what has been interesting is during the pandemic, I don't know about you guys, but I ate more bread than I've ever eaten in my life. We have a bread maker. We did not have a lot of takers on nutrition and weight management. You know, I saw a lot of TikToks. That is one thing that happened during the pandemic. I got addicted to TikTok about people saying they were going to come out of the pandemic looking really healthy and hot. I don't know how many of us took that route. I think most of us took the 15 to 30 pound route. What we have seen is we are selling a lot of this now. We were not selling much of it during the pandemic. People were not focused on healthy eating. Coaching in club and virtually, like we've described throughout. You can see a little photograph down there in the bottom of our Zoom calls. The nice part about this is women getting to connect from kind of all over the world. Not what we had intended in the beginning, definitely a severe pivot. You know, we really thought people would do these workouts at home. You know, our history should have told us that women need accountability, they need support, and they need each other when they're making lifestyle changes. And that is certainly what we learned through this process.
And when Amanda's talking about coaching virtually, you know, many fitness classes, you'll see, you know, the live instructor, and we demonstrated that on our previous course this afternoon with taking you through a Curves on the Go workout. But this coaching is really about lifestyle coaching and holding them accountable. The coach is not teaching the exercise routine. They are simply coaching on how did your week go, and talking to them on their wins and struggles, and allowing the women to come together to talk about that. So I want to make sure that that's, you know, understood. These coaches are not teaching a exercise routine. They're really coaching on their wins, their struggles, and helping keep them accountable. So inside our clubs, we had already started moving to a hybrid model, in club and at home workouts. So that just made that a little bit faster and more rampant. You know, with the cadence of how we were producing classes and where we were producing classes, we had to make some changes there. New service to attract new clients during this time, as Amanda said, health and wellness education series, home workout options that include a certified coach, and support for motivation. One of the great things with our health and wellness is during this closed time, you know, many organizations were taking their Rotary Club meetings or their Kiwanis meetings to online and looking for speakers during that time. And our health and wellness comes with a brief intro that our franchisees could do virtually to keep their name out in the communities. as we talked about, My Curves on Demand was born and brought out in 2019. In areas that we didn't have a Curves, we began the ambassador program. And Curves ambassadors are independent contractors who make a commission for referring women to My Curves on Demand. It's flexible hours, kind of that side gig job, if you would, work the hours that work for them, and no quotas. So this was a great opportunity for us when it's difficult to open brick and mortars because of where we were able to do this ambassador program. What does My Curves on Demand offer? It offers something for everyone, and there's so many classes to choose from, so members never get bored. Our lower to moderate intensity classes are body basics and balance. Our body basics classes contain body weight based functional fitness movements that focused on maintaining effort and maintaining the heart rate using strength based functional movements that emphasizes the arms, core, and legs. Our balance classes are designed to help improve stability and create a strong core. And balance is an essential component of good health, where all body systems are working in unison, as you guys know. Our higher intensity classes are cardio and boxing. Our boxing class is probably one of our most popular classes, and it combines cardio, strength, coordination, and balance, and it delivers a total body conditioning workout. Our cardio class contains challenging moves to pump up that heart rate in between the recovery moves. We also have added during COVID, we had stayed true to our 30-minute workout, but during the pandemic, we did pivot and do some 15-minute and less classes. And these are perfect for those that need to, just to get a quick workout in. So we do have those. We also launched some audio classes where you don't even have to be looking to do the moves. It's just being, all you have to do is hear the coach taking you through. And then lastly, we have our challenge moves, and these are a great way to increase your activity level throughout the month, as well as strength and endurance each day. We continue to add content every single month. And we provide virtual coaching so that the ambassadors don't have to coach members. They can stay solely focused on sales. And ambassadors make a percentage of the sales and continue to make that percentage as long as the members stay active.
Yeah, we have found this to be very important for member acquisition. You are all in fitness. That relationship is so important. So even if there was a Curves in a territory, but there is no longer a Curves there, they really need that connection point of a person to sign up for a virtual platform, especially with a market that's so saturated right now. So, and ambassadors are key to our strategy of, I was going to say dominating the world, but that's not really what I want to say. But but they're key to our strategy of introducing Curves to a new generation of women. We offer so many more things than we have in the past. Krishea went over a few of those things here, but what we have really found is that express workouts have been so popular during this pandemic. In fact, that's one of our most popular categories. So really getting away from our traditional 30 minutes. We always say we own 30 minutes. We're known for 30 minutes. It was a big decision for us as a brand to offer something that's not 30 minutes. And I know when you're sitting outside of a conversation like that, my husband has been in the house with me for the last year. He's like, you guys had talked about that for like 3 weeks. It was a big decision for us. Anytime that you have to make the decision to get away from the core competency of what you are and what you're known for, it's a little bit scary.
And then coming out of COVID, we launched our first mobile franchise, and we just couldn't be more excited about Curves on the Go. As I mentioned earlier, we really anticipated this to be strictly inside in different venues across the community. But as you can see, we with those venues being closed down, we had a lot more opportunity to take it outside. What is Curves on the Go? We have taken our traditional 30-minute full body workout and made it mobile. Instead of using our hydraulic equipment, Curves mobile franchisees would lead functional fitness circuits using resistance band moves, and these moves replicate the moves that are used on our Curves equipment. Our Curves mobile functional circuits would be led indoor. Like I said, examples are churches, school gyms, country clubs, and then we have pivoted to other locations such as parks and beaches. We call this the Uber of fitness for the 50-plus woman. Opportunities that we have seen, is that we are able to pick up displaced members, or maybe people who never even thought about fitness until they realized what this last year has done to them. So we find as an opportunity to pick up displaced members. New adoption of technology. Our demographic still doesn't prefer a lot of technology, but they've definitely adopted it and accepted it way more because of the pandemic. And the quarantine has brought more attention to why exercise is so important to daily life. You know, as Amanda said earlier, increased falls, that is definitely, it's out there. Fatigue, weakness, and muscle loss. All of these things have brought attention to why exercise is so important. I know for our franchisees, they've been in the daily grind of their club, for some of them for over 20 years. And many of them really, I think, had forgotten what they were doing for the women in their community. And when they saw their members coming back after months of not exercising or not adapting to My Curves on Demand, they were astonished with what they knew Curves had done for them. So it definitely a lot of opportunities coming out of the pandemic. Amanda, anything you want to add there?
You know, the only thing I would say is the adoption of technology. I mean, that's something for us as a franchisor with our franchisees and for our members. And it's something that we've even incorporated into our new home program. Before you even sign up, you can come to a live virtual tour and I'll have a coach walk you around the system just so you can get comfortable. That is something that I don't think any other at-home platform can say, that they have a coach that twice a week will take you through and make sure that you know how to navigate even before we take $1 from you. So we knew for us to continue to support the age demographic of the women that we support and for people to stay strong, that we had to do that. So that is what we did during the pandemic, and we were continuing to do that. So we really want to be able to take those members by the hand and show them how to continue to get strong with Curves. Displaced members, you know, we've been around 30 years and we really see people coming back to Curves. But we have been so excited that we have brand new people coming to Curves that have never come to Curves. And we look at numbers and we see rejoins. That's really common for us. People come back to Curves, they come back to something that they know works, but we have a new generation of people coming in because of some of the innovations. So I think that is exciting for us as well.
So learning lessons that we have brought out of the pandemic is the same consumer that is interested in our in-club model is not always interested in our at-home model. In-club members will take an upgrade to hybrid, but they don't always want an at-home membership. Different marketing for at-home only. So those are some things that we've definitely learned over the pandemic. Change is hard for staff and owners. You must have champions for both models. It's very difficult and challenging the hybrid business model is exactly that. It is two different businesses and you're really needing to go down both paths. Misconception is fitness is free. The quarantine made this much worse. In the beginning, owners didn't realize how long this would last. And, you know, many owners, not just some franchisees, but in other franchise companies as well, just gave away too much too long. And people are virtually fatigued. Women need community as much as they need exercise. And so, yes, they're open to other options, but you know, people are fatigued and want to get out into their communities. And we also have to stop trying to resurrect old members and go capture new ones.
We had this conversation today with some of our franchisees. They were talking about as soon as they could get all these old members back, they could start building on that. And I use the analogy, and I don't know why I like to use dating analogies because I've been married a really long time. But if somebody broke up with you 12 months ago and you kept calling them every month to, you know, go back out with you, that would be called stalking or seen as desperate. Sometimes we just have to give up. That person is not coming back. We don't have to resurrect that old member. It's time to find somebody new. That certainly doesn't mean that we should not call old leads, but all of the old members are not going to come back. They may have found something new during the pandemic, but there are certainly plenty of people that need you out there. You don't have to go back to all of your old leads.
And by sharing our program, we are helping, you know, women of all fitness levels get fit and improve their lives. That's what we do here at Curves. This just kind of takes you through why Curves: simple business model, broad market appeal, unique market position, strength of the system, worldwide global brand, backed by results, and ongoing revenue opportunities. If you want to learn more about anything that we have shared with you today, please text FLEX to 469-598-0417 or email us at buycurves@curves.com, and we're happy to answer any questions that you may have. And with that, I will open up the chat for any questions or comments on how you may have pivoted during the pandemic, or any questions that you may have for Amanda or myself.
Yeah, I'd love to hear some of your learning lessons, because those are ours, but I know that everybody took something different away.
All right, what sort of questions we have for Krishea and Amanda?
While you're typing that in, you know, if you don't follow us on social media, I would encourage you to. We have a lot of great partnerships with people like the FAI, but we also have some great partnerships with Women Against Alzheimer's and lots of other great partners that we share their information. So even if you're a fitness trainer yourself, go follow our page. We have some great content, and go follow our TikTok. I've been working really hard on that, and I don't have a lot of followers, so I'm just shamelessly begging. I'm not afraid to shamelessly beg.
As you can see, we are no longer the Curves of 1990. We are in the 21st century. We've got a lot of great things going on here at Curves. We hope some of the things that you've learned today about how we pivoted and things that we have started to make changes with will help you with your business.
All right, Holly, Shannon, Macy, Tish, anybody have any questions for Amanda and Krishea? Those of you on live, if you're on the recording and you want to ask a question, they put up their contact slide, so feel free to text them, call them, email them. You've got that option. So,
all right. Well, thank you so much.
We appreciate y'all's time today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Again, if you're on the recording, feel free to contact them directly. They gave you that access, so take advantage of it. All right, thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.